Yes, 97 degrees here in St. Louis, Missouri, as Fox Sports welcomes you to Busch Stadium. It's the second of a three-game weekend series between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Cincinnati Reds. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Fox Saturday Baseball. I'm Kenny Albert. Reds won the series opener last night, 11-8. Cardinals still hoping to make a run in the National League Central. They swept the first-place Brewers this week. But Mark Grace, the Cardinals did lose a game in the standings last night to Milwaukee. So with 24 games remaining, their deficit, 8.5 games.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be difficult for the St. Louis Cardinals this year. And I think it's a disappointing season so far for really both these teams. But the Cardinals still mathematically can do it. They're going to have to put together some kind of winning streak.
Cardinals will send Jaime Garcia to the mound this afternoon against Homer Bailey, as two longtime rivals get together on Fox. Reds look to make it 2 in a row over the Cardinals. It's coming up next. Cardinals and Reds on Fox. Fox Saturday Baseball. Cincinnati Reds, 11-8 victory last night. Reds come in with a record of 68 and 70. Their batting order brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Brandon Phillips leads off, followed by former Cardinal anchor Renteria. Joey Votto hits third. Jay Bruce in the cleanup spot. Then Chris Heisey. Drew Stubbs hits sixth. Bottom of the order, Todd Frazier, Ryan Hannigan, and Homer Bailey. The Cincinnati Reds batting order for the second game of this weekend series. The opening pitch brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Reds getting set to face the 25-year-old left-hander Jaime Garcia. 1-1 against Cincinnati this season. Career record of 24 and 16. He's pitching on 9 days rest. Last started against the Dodgers back on August the 24th. Mark time now for our sprint pitcher profile.
Yeah, the young left-hander, the star left-hander, he's well rested, as you said. 9 days of rest. He was skipped his last start just because he's been struggling, and he needs to go deep into this game today because the Cardinals have a very taxed bullpen. They worked hard in the series sweep up in Milwaukee, and they worked hard again last night. And also, another thing is he's starting to fade a little bit, and that's what happened to him last year. It seems like when the weather really starts to get tough here in St. Louis with the heat, well, he seems to go the other way.
Garcia's last win way back on July the 23rd in Pittsburgh. No wins over his last 6 starts as Brandon Phillips steps in to lead off. Phillips, Renteria, and Votto for the Reds here in the top of the first inning.
Garcia, more of a mental break that last start he was skipped, Kenny, because he says he physically feels fine, but he's just trying a little too hard, and that's very normal for a young guy. So between the lines, this left-hander's awfully good, but right now he's got to work on between the ears. Get that thing taken care of, then he's going to be just fine because he's awfully talented.
He was terrific in both facets last season when he won 13 games. Finished 3rd in National League Rookie of the Year voting behind Buster Posey and Jason Hayward. Falls behind 2-0 to the leadoff hitter Brandon Phillips.
There's a great article this morning here in St. Louis talking about the trials and tribulations of Jaime Garcia, and he's out there. He's thinking about he's been thinking about his mechanics too much. All you need to think about as a young pitcher is find the glove of your catcher and release the baseball to it. Something like that.
Yes, down the right field line. Now 2-2. And his catcher today, Mark, is Gerald Laird, with Yadi Molina suffering from a bit of a calf problem.
This is the time of year when catchers start to really feel those beatings they take back there day in and day out.
Count is now full with Edgar Renteria waiting on deck. There's Laird and his battery mate Garcia. Phillips 2 for 4 with a run batted in last night. And he starts off this afternoon's game with a base hit into left field. So the leadoff man is on for the Reds here in the top of the first inning as we check out the Cardinals in the field. From left to right of the outfield, Holliday, Jay, and Berkman. Pujols at first, Schumacher at second for Collins short, Freese at third, and the battery of Garcia and Laird. So with Phillips on at first, here's Edgar Renteria, last year's World Series most valuable player with the San Francisco Giants. Spent 6 years as a member of the Cardinals. And like Brandon Phillips, went 2 for 4 with an RBI last night.
You see him square around to bunt right there. The leadoff base hit by Brandon Phillips, that just opens up so many opportunities for Dusty Baker to do some managing here. He can do some bunting. He can do some hit and run because Phillips has good speed. Renteria handles the bat well.
There goes Phillips. Swing and a miss by Renteria. Throw to second is not in time, and Phillips is in with his 10th steal of the season.
They play hit and run right there. They get the swing and miss from Edgar Renteria, but Gerald Laird decided to stay on his knees. Makes a pretty good throw, but Phillips got a great jump and just got in there ahead of the throw. So just like that, Dusty Baker pushing the accelerator here in the first inning.
So now with the runner in scoring position, the 1-1 is Renteria squared to bunt. It's ball 2, says first base umpire C.B. Bucknor.
Renteria saying, my job now is I've got to get Brandon Phillips to third base. By the end of this at bat, Brandon Phillips needs to be standing on third base because I've got the reigning MVP in Joey Votto on deck. And most likely that'll be a 1-0 start for the Reds.
Our umpire and crew, Angel Campos behind the plate. C.B. Bucknor at first. Dan Isonia at second. And the crew chief, Jerry Meals, working third.
Got a good crew here today.
In the heat.
Yes, they're going to be paying a dear price.
Leadoff single by Phillips. He stole second. Renteria awaiting the 2-2 from Garcia. Blocked by Laird. Our second consecutive full count.
Beautiful block there by Gerald Laird, the veteran. He's Been a terrific defensive catcher for a long time now, and he just smothers that. Good feet. All you young catchers out there, watch how he drops to the knees and just smothers it. That ball is going absolutely nowhere. Beautifully executed there by Laird.
Payoff pitch to Renteria. Foul back. Reds exploded for 11 runs last night after they scored only 6 during their entire series, a 4-game set in Philadelphia.
That Philadelphia pitching staff will do that to you. Once again, Cliff Lee is on one of those monthly rolls where he just doesn't give up runs.
Renteria with a base hit into the left field corner. Not only will Phillips hit third, he will score easily. And the Reds take a 1-0 lead here in the first inning. RBI number 31 off the bat of Edgar Renteria.
A couple of 2-strike hits now. The first from Brandon Phillips, and this time from Edgar Renteria. As you said, the MVP of the World Series last year gets a fastball in, just goes down and drills it down the left field line. And the Cincinnati Reds strike quickly. They're 2 guys at the top of the order doing their job. Phillips setting the tone with a base hit and a stolen base. And what that does, it puts Jaime Garcia into the stretch. It gives him something else to think about out there instead of the hitter in the batter's box. And because of that, he's down quickly 1-0 here this afternoon.
And now must face the reigning National League most valuable player in Joey Votto.
Another good block there by Gerald Laird to save a would-be wild pitch.
So Garcia, who allowed 7 earned runs in his last start, running into trouble here in the first. Now facing Votto, who leads the league with a batting average of .409 with runners in scoring position.
Beautiful slider there from Garcia, and he had the star first baseman lunging. You don't see Joey Votto take many poor swings, but that was certainly one of them.
Renteria takes his lead off second. 1-1 to Votto, fouled off to the left side, now 1-2. Votto having another terrific season, 3rd in the league in batting average, 6th in runs batted in, 2nd in runs, 4th in hits. Votto down on strikes.
With a big strikeout there from Garcia. You see another lunging poor swing from Joey Votto. Couldn't come at a better time for Garcia. The slider down and away, and Votto just lunging. Once again, Gerald Laird back there blocking up everything. Big out there for Garcia and the Cardinals.
So with 1 away, here's Jay Bruce. Leads the Reds with 28 home runs. Just 1 for 13 lifetime against Garcia.
Right now, Garcia got a good feel for that slider down and away from the left-handed hitters.
Brandon Phillips with a leadoff single, stole second, scored on Edgar Renteria's double. Garcia struck out Votto. And now Bruce behind in the count, 0-2.
Good fastball there. That one just dipped out of the strike zone. But that's a quality 0-2 pitch right there. Jay Bruce or any hitter's not going to do anything with that pitch.
So Garcia strikes out the left-handers, Votto and Bruce, now 2 away.
Steady diet of breaking balls. Starting with the slider away, strike 1. Well, that worked. I think I'll do it again and get the foul ball. Now you show him that good 0-2 pitch that just dips down. Now you go right back to the off-speed pitch, and Bruce way out in front That's how you attack a lefty-on-lefty situation. Jaime Garcia did it perfectly against Votto and against Bruce.
So now with 2 away, here's Chris Heisey.
I really like this kid. I like what he brings to the table. He's going to be an everyday player somewhere. If it's not for the Cincinnati Reds, it's going to be somewhere soon.
Just off the disabled list, he's hit 13 home runs this year, including 4 against the Cardinals.
Look at the dive on that fastball, down and away. Beautiful pitch from Garcia. After a couple of hits to start the inning, he has really gone after these next 3 Reds. Blocked again beautifully by Laird. Now Jaime Garcia just 1 strike away from mopping up what could have been a really big mess here in the first inning.
Check swing. Ball 2.
C.B. Buckner over at first base said no, he did not. Well, that's a tantalizing breaking ball that Garcia has. He's just able to check it up. Let's see what C.B. Buckner saw. Well, that's close. I think he checked it up, though, Kenny. What do you think?
I agree.
Can you tell him a former hitter?
Here comes pitch number 26 of the inning from Garcia. His 3rd full count.
That's a changeup that Garcia throws. It's just about 7 or 8 miles an hour off his fastball, and you see that good dive. It's actually a great take from Heisey just to stay alive.
Payoff pitch to Heisey, and Garcia comes back after allowing the run on 2 hits. He strikes out Votto, Bruce, and Heisey in succession. Inning. The Cardinals come in with a record of 73 and 65. Their batting order brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Rafael Furcal leads off, followed by John Jay. Albert Pujols hits 3rd. Matt Holliday in the cleanup spot. Then Lance Berkman. David Freese hits 6th. Skip Schumacher 7th. Gerald Laird 8th. And then the pitcher, Jaime Garcia. Rafael Furcal with home runs mark in each of his last 3 games. Leadoff home run on Wednesday in Milwaukee, did it again on Thursday.
Right-handed, left-handed. Really didn't stop there. Go ahead and, first night back home, go ahead and hit another one into the seats. Rafael Furcal hit quite a few home runs as an Atlanta Brave, and then he moved on to the Los Angeles Dodgers, and his power numbers dipped. But, boy, ever since he's put that Cardinal uniform on, that power's right back.
6 home runs this season, 5 with the Cardinals, including 3 leadoff home runs. You saw 2 of them from earlier this week. Furcal facing 25-year-old right-hander Homer Bailey, making his 18th start of the season. He's been on the disabled list twice with right shoulder issues. Record of 7-6, 23-22 during his 5-year career. Now 2-1 on Furcal.
Homer Bailey rocketed through the Reds organization, a high pick, and a guy that's been on the prospect list for years now. And when he's healthy, boy, this kid is something special. Just staying healthy has been the problem for him.
Smash down to the first baseman. Votto takes it to the bag himself for out number 1. Homer Bailey, 7th overall pick in the first round back in 2004 by the Reds. Here is his sprint pitcher profile.
Well, he's a hard thrower. He's got a fastball in the mid-90s. Coming off his best outing, unfortunately, it was in a losing effort against the Philadelphia Phillies. He threw a beautiful game, according to Dusty Baker, the best one he's thrown all year. And he's strong against the Central Division, and that's always important. You want to beat the teams that you're facing the most. You can see in his career, 5-1 against the Central. That'll make your manager happy.
Here's John Jay with 1 away. That Monday against the Phillies, Homer Bailey struck out a career-high 9. He was matched up against Cole Hamels. Shane Victorino took him deep in the 8th inning, a 2-run shot. Phillies won the game 3-2.
Threw one poor pitch all game, and unfortunately it got him beat. And I said career, I meant season, 5-1 this year. Just still makes me uncomfortable, a pitcher with the name of Homer.
There have only been 4 in baseball history.
Yeah, tell me who the other ones are.
4 pitchers named Homer, thanks to our friends at Stats LLC. Homer Spraggins pitched for the Phillies back in 1947.
Okay.
Homer Blankenship pitched for the White Sox and the Phillies during the 1920s.
Okay.
And Homer Hillebrand, a Pirate from 1905 through 1908.
And no, I didn't face any of those guys. See, I think his name should be like 3 up, 3 down, Bailey.
Well, he has allowed the most homers of those 4 major league pitchers named Homer.
The big Texan.
His given name is David. His great-grandfather went by the name Homer. And Homer had that passed down to him. Payoff pitch to John Jay. Again, it is Votto. This time with the flip to Homer covering first. 2 away. Wouldn't it be a lot better if Mr. Pujols was named Homer?
That would be more fitting because he does it a lot. He homers a lot.
Grand slam on Thursday.
He's right back on track here in August and September.
In Milwaukee, off Giovanni Gallardo, 12th career grand slam. He had a solo homer earlier in that game. 442 homers in his career. Only 1 came against Homer Bailey.
And he gets a fastball up and in to start his afternoon from Homer Bailey. Homer Bailey saying, yeah, you're the star of this game. You're the first ballot Hall of Famer, but I got to introduce myself to you out here, too. That's a fair ball. That is a fair ball, according to Jerry Meals, and Albert Pujols is not happy.
Tagged out by the catcher, Hannigan. Here comes Tony La Russa.
Now, Albert's coming back to get a little more.
One more look.
It's a fair ball.
The Cardinals 1-0. Homer Bailey retired. St. Louis in order in the bottom of the first. One more look at the last.
Yeah, the disputed out. That's a fair ball. See, it is still. It doesn't have to leave the batter's box area to be a fair ball. All it has to do is be between the lines. And according to Jerry Meals, that ball was still between the lines. I think he got it right. And even star players sometimes don't know the little small rules of baseball. I think Albert thought, no, it never left the batter's box. Well, it really doesn't matter.
And now Drew Stubbs on the first pitch in the second inning grounds out 2 for call for out number 1.
One pitch, 1 out. Much needed here for Jaime Garcia after an extended first inning.
Garcia threw 27 pitches in the first inning. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the second as Todd Frazier steps in.
Todd Frazier homered here last evening. And Garcia now, he's just become a strike machine.
Frazier with a pinch hit home run off Chris Carpenter last night. One of 6 home runs in the game, 3 for each team. All 3 Cincinnati home runs were hit by rookies.
Cincinnati Reds very excited about a lot of youngsters coming through the minor leagues for them. They think they're going to be terrific for years. That one misses inside, and that one spins Frazier around.
Reds won the division last year. They won 91 games, swept by the Phillies in the National League Division Series. Third place, 13.5 out on September 3rd this season. Frazier with a base hit into left field.
You can see Dusty Baker likes what he sees in a lot of these youngsters that are just now up here with September call-ups. More of a veteran group out there today on this Saturday afternoon. I think the old guys sweated out there today. One of the greats, though, Johnny B. Dusty Baker.
Dusty and Tony La Russa going at it for the 201st time during the regular season. Ryan Hannigan takes ball 1, the Reds catcher. batting .270.
That's a lot of times going toe-to-toe with an opposing manager. Okay, I'm going to bite. What's the record?
.102 wins for Tony, 99 for Dusty.
Oh, man. About what you'd expect. Evenly matched.
Frazier goes. Hannigan lines out to left. The throw from Holiday is off the mark. And Frazier will be awarded second base. Today's game presented by Chevrolet is sponsored by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. And by the makers of New Bayer Advanced Aspirin, the official pain reliever of Major League Baseball. Well, Todd Frazier awarded third following that throwing error by Holiday after the lineup by Hannigan. Only the third error committed by Matt Holiday this season as the pitcher Homer Bailey steps in. Fastball missing high, ball one.
Holiday saw that Frazier was running on the pitch and he thought he could get him. There was really no play, so a bit of a mental mistake by Matt Holiday out in left field. As you said, a very rare error from Matt Holiday. That evens the count 1-1. And then also, there's always some place to be on the baseball field once the ball is hit. And Gerald Laird right there should have been backing up first base once he saw there was going to be a play there. He was not, and the ball went in the dugout.
And now Bailey with a base hit up the middle. Frazier will score. And the Reds now lead 2-0.
Comes back to haunt the St. Louis Cardinals as Jaime Garcia cannot retire his counterpart, Homer Bailey, who handles the bat pretty well. Came into the game hitting over 200, hitting 222. Drives in his second run of the season. But it's just little things like maybe the decision to try to throw to first base by Matt Holiday as it's raining here at Busch Stadium.
So with the fans scurrying for cover, here's Brandon Phillips. Single came around to score in the first inning. Swings out the first pitch. Pujols in foul territory. He's got it. And that retires the side. But the Reds score another run on 2 hits and an error. Lead the Cardinals middle of the second, 2-0. Chevrolet is sponsored by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Bottom of the second inning in St. Louis. Reds with a run in each of the first 2 innings. Cardinals retired in order by Homer Bailey in the first. 2 ground outs to the first baseman Votto. And then Pujols tagged out by the catcher Hannigan.
Managers always love a sign that ground balls mean there's life on your fastball. There's some good dive to it. You don't want to be a fly ball pitcher against this home run hitting St. Louis Cardinal squad.
Matt Holliday leading off against Bailey. Beautiful curve is in for strike 1.
Well, you can say that again. What a thing of beauty that was from Homer Bailey.
Holliday hit his 21st home run last night. 201st of his career. Ground ball to the shortstop, Renteria. Backhands it, throws across to Votto to retire Holliday.
4 batters, 4 ground balls on the infield. What that also does is, as a defender, you're on your toes. When a guy like Homer Bailey is out there and you know he's throwing ground balls, and you know he's working fast and throwing strikes, that keeps you on your toes. You're expecting every single pitch to be put in play. And you're just maybe that half step, maybe a step better because of it.
With 1 away, here's Lance Berkman. Ended an 0 for 14 string yesterday. Had 2 hits, drove in a run. What a comeback season it has been for Berkman here in St. Louis.
Yeah, he admittedly had to rededicate himself in the offseason. All of a sudden, the game, once you get in your mid-30s, all of a sudden the game, it's not going to come as easy as it used to. And Lance just naturally was able to go on home in the wintertime, do whatever he needed to do, enjoy his vacation, and come back and just hammer the baseball. Well, now that he's getting into his mid-30s, he realized he had to rededicate his offseason. And boy, has that paid dividends this year. He's going to get some MVP votes this year. 3-0.
30 home runs. He's driven in 82.
Real curveball. How about that? That just shows you right there that Homer Bailey right now feels like he can throw his curveball for a strike. Probably more than he can throw his fastball for a strike right now. He's kind of feeling like, let's see if he can throw this fastball for a strike. Just missed.
So Berkman heads to first. Cardinals have their first base runner of the game. So with 1 away, Berkman on at first. Here's third baseman David Freese. Freese 3 for 5 with a home run last night. Fastball in for strike 1. Reds lead 2-0, bottom of the second inning. Cardinals second place in the National League Central, 8.5 games behind first place Milwaukee.
Last night, to the opposite field it goes, and out of here. That was in the 6th inning last night. That came right after he was knocked down by a pitch right around his helmet area. He just got right back up, drove it into the seats. That's how you get even.
That tied the game at 6.
Wow.
Manley strikes out Freese for out number 2.
That is just unfair to do to a guy.
Well, Mark, I know you're looking forward to next Sunday as the NFL regular season gets underway on Fox.
We all are.
It'll be doubleheader action. First, a great slate of early games, including the Falcons and Bears and the Eagles and the Rams. And then in late regional action, Giants take on the Redskins in America's Game of the Week. Vikings And the Chargers. The coverage begins next Sunday with the Built Ford Tough Fox NFL pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Check local listings for the games in your area.
Well, you're going to be in Chicago for the Bears game.
Bears and the Falcons.
Well, fortunately for you, it won't quite be bear weather yet.
No. I was there in the playoffs for their postseason game against Seattle.
That was bear weather.
That was bear weather. Two playoff teams from a year ago, Chicago and Atlanta. One and one on Skip Schumacher. With 2 outs, Berkman on at first. Reds leading the Cardinals 2-0. Here in St. Louis, the Rams undefeated during the preseason.
Hopes are high here for the first time in a few years in St. Louis. Love Sam Bradford, don't you?
Terrific rookie season. You're right, high expectations. Schumacher with a base hit into right field. Berkman holds at second. So the Cardinals have 2 on for the catcher, Gerald Laird. First hit of the game for St. Louis.
Homer Bailey kicking himself. This is an 0-2 pitch right here, and it's just right down the middle. Missed his spot badly. Golly, he says. When you've got a guy 0-2, I mean, there's so many things you can do to him. You can elevate a fastball or throw a breaking ball in the dirt. You can get him to try to chase something. But what happened there, he just went with a fastball right down the middle, and it got whacked.
So here's Laird. We mentioned Yadi Molina out with the calf injury. So Gerald Laird making the start today behind the plate as Bailey misses inside, ball 1. There's Molina. Berkman takes his lead off second. Schumacher off first. As Laird fouls it back, 1-1.
Bailey just reached back and challenged Gerald Laird right down the middle with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, and he beat him with it. I call those angry fastballs. He's still a little bit upset with himself for making a poor 0-2 pitch to Skip Schumacher. It cost him a base hit. And after he fell behind, he just said, heck with it. Here it is, Gerald Laird. Let's play baseball.
I'm sure you faced many of those.
Oh, yes. There's another one with the same result. That time he got it to the outside corner. That was a pretty pitch by Bailey.
Laird reaches out and fouls it off down the right field line.
Spoils a beautiful pitch again there from Homer Bailey. That time he really went to the outside corner that time. This is just a survival swing. And that's all you're doing in that situation. That's not a pitch you're going to do any damage with. You're just going to fight it off and see if you can get a mistake here on this pitch.
Fastball missing high, 2-2. Homer Bailey 2-4 lifetime against the Cardinals. A win in his only start against St. Louis this season back in mid-July. In Cincinnati, 3-1.
Just missed the inside corner. So now Laird has fought back. Count's full. Now the Cardinal base runner is going to get a running start here on the 3-2 count with 2 outs.
Runners go. Payoff pitch. Base hit left field. Here comes Berkman. The ball gets by Heisey. Schumacher rounding third. He will score. We are tied at 2.
Terrific at bat right there. Finishes with a base hit and then ole! Says Chris Heisey, and once it gets by, start the merry-go-round. Jose Oquendo can start waving everybody home. And Bailey, oh no. Boy, what an at-bat by Laird. And just like that, we are now tied.
So a single and an RBI for Laird. The second run scores on the Heisey error. His third of the season. And just like that, the Cardinals scored 2 runs. And for the Cardinals, Mark, they had gone 21 innings without a run on Fox Saturday Baseball, shut out in their last 2 appearances by the Cubs and the Pirates.
Well, Tony La Russa will let us back in his office now after this, huh?
Yes, he will. Well aware of the Cardinals' struggles on Fox.
He let me know. There's not much that gets by Tony La Russa, is
no.
There's the running start, down the base hit. Berkman's going to score easily. Now, once Heisey whiffs it, now just go ahead and keep waving him, Jose Oquendo. Homer Bailey starting to get frustrated with things out there right now.
Heisey looking up, wondering if he lost it in the sun.
No, it was on the ground there, Chris. There's just not a big enough hole to dig out there in front of everybody. Ball 2 up and away.
Garcia just 5 hits this year and 51 at bats. He does have a home run.
Not many 098 hitters have home runs. Don't say that to Jaime Garcia. He kind of looks hitterish in the batter's box, doesn't he?
He does. Heisey comes on and is unable to make a diving catch. Laird scores. 6th run batted in of the season for Garcia. He said he looks like a hitter, Mark, and the Cardinals now lead 3-2.
Well, this is not an 098 swing. Heisey let one get past him a play ago. This time he gives the great effort. Can't come up with it. And Gerald Laird's going to score. And we're going to have a meeting on the mound. Brian Price, the pitching coach for the Cincinnati Reds, going to come out and have a conversation with Homer Bailey, who getting cuffed around here and all these runs scoring with 2 out.
After Bailey pitched so well in his last start against the Phillies on Monday, Dusty Baker said he was as sharp as I've ever seen him. Running into trouble here in the second inning as the Cardinals have scored 3. So over the first 2 innings, Mark, both pitchers have driven in runs.
Very rare you see something like that, and both of them with 2 outs. Here both pitchers are just what is considered an easy out away from getting out of an inning, and they can't get it. And now all of a sudden that brings up a red hot Rafael Furcal to do even more damage possibly. Quickly 2 strikes.
Furcal grounded out to the first baseman Votto his first time up. Cardinals with 3 consecutive singles with 2 outs. The 0-2 for call. Bailey missing away. Ball one. Pitch number 29 of the inning from Bailey. Call fouls it off. Count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And he has been extended by a lot of hitters. I mean, some really good at-bats in this inning from the St. Louis Cardinals. Schumacher hit an 0-2 pitch. Gerald Laird had a 7-pitch at-bat. Garcia swatting him the other way, a la Rod Carew. And now for call, battling him as well.
Call strikes out. Inning finally comes to an end. Cardinals score 3. The second run coming home after this ball skipped past Heisey. And then he attempted to make a diving catch, leading to the third St. Louis run. The third with the Cardinals now leading the Reds 3-2 as Edgar Renteria will lead off against Jaime Garcia. Renteria doubled in a run back in the first inning. Swinging at the first pitch and he fouls it off, 0-1. Renteria, Votto and Bruce for the Reds here in the third against Garcia, now pitching with a 1-run lead after allowing a run in each of the first 2 innings.
These are the guys Dusty counts on, these guys in the middle of the order.
John Jay in center. 1 away.
I'll bring up Joey Votto. Joey Votto was a strikeout victim in the first inning. He was the first of 3 straight strikeouts to end the first inning by Jaime Garcia. He got him with a steady diet of breaking balls down and away. Let's see if he stays with that game plan. I know I would.
Votto, Bruce, and Heisey have combined for 67 home runs. Garcia struck them all out in order back in the first.
Taken all the way. Strike one.
Garcia missing away, now 3-1. Votto, the reigning National League most valuable player. Albert Pujols finished second in the voting. Pujols a 3-time MVP. As Votto heads down to first walk issued by Garcia. So Votto down at first. He and Pujols will have a chance to chat about these numbers over their first 4 full seasons.
Joey Votto, the reigning MVP, it just shows you how great Albert Pujols was in his first 4 seasons. Just one of the greatest players of all time. I mean, he's in the conversation when you talk about those things. Albert Pujols' name's got to come up.
Absolutely. Ball 1 to Jay Bruce, who struck out his first time up. Now, what a revival for Pujols over the last 3 months after the slow start.
Slow start, and then also the injury.
Base hit into right field off the bat of Bruce. Votto on his way to third. And tagged out at second is Bruce.
There have been some mistakes made by these Cincinnati Reds. That's a mistake with 1 out. Go ahead and stay at first. Votto knows Berkman does not have a good throwing arm, so he's going to go to third base. Now Bruce, all he needs to do is stay at first, and then you'd have first and third 1 out. Instead, you take the chance, you gamble. Now there's a runner on third and 2 outs, and it takes a base hit now to tie up the ball game. So, yes, aggressive. You always want aggressive mistakes, but at the end of the day, the key word there is mistake. Good breaking ball to start Heisey. Would probably love nothing more than to make up for a miscue out in left field last inning. As the rain starts to come down pretty hard now here at Busch Stadium.
Heisey fouls it back. 1-2. The rain had slowed down a bit. Now the fans once again running for cover. Rains were not expected until later in the day.
This was not in the forecast. I would imagine on this steamy day it kind of feels nice.
Easy for us to say up here in the booth. Fastball missing high.
Heisey staying alive as the rain continues to come down. It looked like he got a piece of Gerald Laird's left foot. Oh yeah, just on the calf area. That hurts. As thunder rolls through here.
Heisey pops it up. Foul territory, Laird. And the Reds are retired in the third. Saturday Baseball presented by Chevrolet from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Kenny Albert with Mark Grace, bottom of the third inning. Cardinals leading the Reds 3-2. Reds with a run in each of the first 2 innings. Cardinals scored 3 in the second off Homer Bailey, who was asking for some assistance out on the mound due to the rain that had been coming down for the last 20 minutes or so.
It's starting to come down pretty solid. It's leveled off a little bit, but it's just steady. It's supposed to be here about 25 minutes or so, according to myself, the local weatherman.
And your sources.
That's exactly right.
So the grounds crew working on the landing spot out on the mound. Brandon Phillips, the Reds' second baseman, is wearing a microphone for us today, and he's been chatting with anybody who will listen.
And he's always entertaining, folks.
Oh! Hey, I gotta drive that, dog. I gotta drive that ball. Hey, that thing was right there. Oh my gosh. That's probably the fattest ball I ever seen. That ball was right there and I popped up. So sad. That's what separates the great hitters from just the average hitters. They gotta hit the mistakes. So that makes me average.
Not afraid to poke fun at himself, doesn't take himself too seriously, and always looking to find a conversation with somebody.
First pitch in the bottom of the third is sent into the gap in right center by John Jay, and he is heading for third. He is in.
First pitch breaking ball down. John Jay hammers it, and because of the wet surface, it kind of skips. And because of that, Stubbs can only just stop it, and John Jay can fly. And once he sees it's in the gap, it's off to the races. And he's not satisfied with 2 bases, kids out there. Go ahead and try to get 3, especially with nobody out leading off the inning. Get there to third base and let Albert Pujols drive you in.
Second triple of the season for John Jay. He swung at the first pitch as we were listening to Brandon Phillips, and you saw his tweet from before the game about today's telecast on Fox Saturday Baseball. It's amazing how the microphone has stayed clean on the front of Brandon's jersey. See, the rest of the jersey is pretty messy, but that mic has remained perfect.
Yeah, he stole a base and he went head first. So that's hard on a microphone. He's always a dirty uniform. He's one of the pleasures, the delightful guys around. Beautiful fastball. Didn't get the call from home plate umpire Angel Campos. Cincinnati Reds are playing the infield back, so they're going to concede this run. Any ground ball is going to make it a 4-2 St. Louis lead.
Right field into the corner. Just foul. One ball, 2 strike count. And Pujols for the base hit into left field, scoring Jay from third. And the Cardinals now lead 4-2. RBI number 85 for Albert Pujols.
That's all it takes, just hitting something on the ground. The infield's back. Now you get the added bonus because it's just out of the terrific effort of Todd Frazier at third base. And the Cardinals continue to pile on Homer Bailey here in the early going.
Cardinals now with 4 runs on 5 hits off Bailey. Still nobody out here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Here's Matt Holliday, grounded to short, his first time up. Cardinals had won 4 in a row prior to the loss last night, including the 3-game sweep in Milwaukee. Brewers had not lost 2 consecutive home games at any time this season, and then they lost 3 straight to St. Louis.
In pretty impressive fashion, too. The Cardinals went up there and beat on the Brewers, which just doesn't happen. The Brewers 50-19 at home this year. And the obvious statement, it was 50-16 before St. Louis went in there and kicked them around.
And this week, beginning Monday, the Brewers will be here at Busch Stadium for 3.
That's why they think there's still a chance here, albeit that was a big game to give back last night. Cardinals felt like they had that game more than once. The Cincinnati youngsters hit a bunch of home runs, and there you see. Semi-advantage Cardinals, but they still got 8.5 games to make up, and it's going to be tough sledding, Kenny, no question.
Brewers 21-7 during the month of August.
Man. That's how you stretch it out.
And their magic number is 16 to clinch the NL Central.
Most teams anywhere from 23 to 25 games left in the season. Season's gone kind of quick, if you ask me, this year, Kenny. There's still a lot to play for in the American League East. Certainly in the American League West. Rangers starting to pull away from the Angels. The National League West.
And it will end early. Season ends on a Wednesday, September 28th. For the first time, the postseason will begin on a Friday.
I like it.
The 1-2 to Holliday. Bailey missing low and away. Now 2-2.
Homer Bailey's done a really good job this afternoon of getting strike 1 and strike 2, but he hasn't had that put away pitch here in the 2nd inning or the 3rd inning. The Cardinals have done most of their damage with 2 outs and 2 strikes. Holliday battling and battling. Really making Homer Bailey work for everything he gets.
Eighth pitch for this at bat to Holliday. Fouls it off. Count remains 2-2. Cardinals lead the Reds 4-2. Still nobody out. Bottom of the 3rd inning in St. Louis. Pujols the runner on first. He drove in John Jay from third.
And they're still going to continue to lock horns here. Holiday and Bailey. Foul ball after foul ball.
10th pitch upcoming. Another foul. Six two-strike foul balls off the bat of Matt Holliday. Fastball missing high. Full count.
Full count now. Does Tony La Russa send Albert Pujols with nobody out in the count full, trying to stay out of the double play? Cardinals lead all of baseball in hitting into double plays. Another big reason why they're 8.5 out going into this game.
Pujols goes, and Holliday with a base hit to center field. So Pujols on the move. He is now at third. Runners on the corners with nobody out.
I don't know if you'll ever find a better at-bat than what Matt Holliday just put on Homer Bailey. 11th pitch of the at-bat. Whack. Right back where it came from into center field. Pujols on the way. And now he'll easily coast into third base. And the Cardinals looking to have another big inning. And now the Cincinnati Reds bullpen going to start to get loose.
Third consecutive hit of the inning for the Cardinals. Jay started things off with a triple. Pujols and Holliday with singles. And now it's Lance Berkman. Look at his numbers with the Astros from 2000 through 2009. Last year with Houston and the New York Yankees. And the revival this season here in St. Louis.
Once again, we talked about it. He just really dedicated himself this offseason to becoming the star player that he was for all those years in Houston. He was embarrassed about his 2010 season with Houston and the New York Yankees. Boy, he's been terrific here in St. Louis.
And a big opportunity here with runners on the corners and nobody out. Carlos Fisher up and throwing in the Reds' pen as Berkman fouls off the first pitch from Bailey, 0-1.
Bailey just challenged him with the fastball. There you see Fisher.
Lance Berkman marked 52 career home runs against Cincinnati. More than any other active player.
Beautiful fastball. 0-2.
Berkman walked and scored back in the second inning. Pujols on third, and Holliday over at first.
Didn't get him to chase the elevated fastball. Bailey just really having trouble putting away the Cardinals. Strike one and strike two hadn't been a problem at all. But getting that either third strike or the ground ball or fly ball just been very difficult for him here.
Here's Phillips, flips it with the glove, on to first, safe. So the Cardinals stay out of the double play. Pujols scores. It's now a 5-2 game.
Phillips does everything he can. He's got a range a long way to his right. And then The glove flip to Renteria, who turns it quickly, but Berkeley getting down the line, beats it. And another run across the board here for the Cardinals.
2 runs in the inning for St. Louis after scoring 3 in the second. So Berkman now on at first with 1 out. Here's David Freese, who struck out his first time up. Five-2 Cardinals, 1 out. Bottom of the 3rd inning. After the Reds took a 2-0 lead. One and one.
Already 66 pitches in only 2 1/3 innings. These Cardinals have absolutely worn out Homer Bailey here this afternoon.
Bailey threw 30 pitches in the second inning, already 25 here in the 3rd. Thanks in large part to Matt Holliday. Berkman goes, Freese strikes out. And now Berkman caught a run down. And he will be tagged out by Phillips. And that will end the inning. But the Cardinals score 2 more runs. Lead the Reds after 3, 5-2. by AT&T, rethink possible. And by Burger King, who reminds you to have it your way. We move to the fourth inning here in St. Louis. Kenny Albert with Mark Grace. Cardinals leading the Reds by the score of 5-2. Cardinals scoring 3 runs in the second, and then 2 more in the third off Homer Bailey. As Drew Stubbs leads off for Cincinnati. Stubbs grounded out to short his first time up. As we welcome in from the Cardinals dugout, tomorrow's starting pitcher, Edwin Jackson, came over at the trade deadline, went from the White Sox to Toronto and then immediately on to St. Louis. Edwin, thanks for joining us. How have you enjoyed your time here in St. Louis so far?
It's been a great experience, a great group of guys, you know, a lot of energy on this team, and it's been a lot of fun being able to pitch with this great defense behind me as well, and you know, you get a chance to play with the guys that can swing the bat.
4-2 over your first 7 starts with the Cardinals, and as we mentioned, you'll take on this Red squad tomorrow. And Mark and I have been talking about it. 24 games left, 8.5 out. You guys down in the dugout still think you have a chance to catch the Brewers?
Definitely. I was on the 2009 Detroit team, and we were up 7 with about the same amount of games, and Minnesota came back, you know, to force it into a 1-game playoff, and we end up losing, and they end up going to the playoffs. So definitely anything's possible. You just have to keep fighting and keep picking away.
Edwin, you've played this year. You've played for, obviously, Tony La Russa now, but also Ozzie Guillen up on the south side of Chicago. Tell us a little bit of they're both championship managers, but tell us the differences between somebody like Oz, playing for somebody like Ozzie, and for Tony.
Ozzie's definitely outspoken. You're definitely going to see his emotions on his face. Tony, you know, he's pretty much to himself more. You might hear him every now and then in his corner, but Ozzie, you're going to hear him from all the way on the other end of the bench. It's definitely he's not going to be quiet if he has anything to say. You're definitely going to hear it, and it's going to be a public announcement on the bench.
And can you understand him?
Definitely. Sometimes, I mean, you have to be close. Sometimes he start talking so fast, you just hear a couple words here and there. You just kind of put the sentence together according to what he's talking to. But I mean, they both love to win. Definitely, they're both competitors, and they both expect a lot out of their players.
A leadoff single off the bat of Drew Stubbs. Now Todd Frazier at the plate as we continue to chat with Edwin Jackson. Edwin, Jaime Garcia ran into some trouble early, allowing a run in each of the first 2 innings, but he's come back nicely and even drove in a run.
Definitely. I mean, he started off the game. They got a couple of his, but he settled down real well. He just keep pitching his game. This dude has great stuff. I play catch with him, and he has a heavy ball. I mean, I finished playing catch with him and my hand is red. And I just have to tell him, you know, just go out and trust it. Anything he's been through, I've obviously been through it, been through a little bit of everything. But, I mean, once he goes out, and the earlier he goes out and he gets in a groove and he trusts his stuff, I mean, he's a tough pitcher. He's hard to hit.
You've moved at the deadline now 2 consecutive seasons. Late July next year, will you be keeping that phone turned off?
It just means people want you.
Hey, that's what I always say. As long as I'm wanted, I don't mind. As when somebody's trying to trade me and nobody wants to take me, then I know it's official. But, I mean, each time I've been traded, it's been to a playoff contending team. So it's definitely not a bad thing if you're getting traded to a team that's winning and a team that has a chance for playoffs.
2-1 now on Frazier. What's the weather doing down there now? It looks like the sun's trying to peek through.
A little bit. Looked like it's trying to come back out from behind the clouds. It was pretty nice after the rain. Started off hot, then the rain come and it cools down a little bit. Now the sun's trying to peek back out a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't get too hot down here. We have to turn back on the fan. They're aiming for me over here a little bit.
How about this Reds lineup, Ed, when you have to face them tomorrow? A couple of big bats in Votto and Bruce. So what have you seen these last 2 days?
Definitely, it's a pretty aggressive team. You know, the guys coming out, they're swinging the bats early and often. It's a matter you have to execute pitches and definitely keep them off balance. Regardless of the standings, these dudes can swing the bat pretty well. If you've seen in the last few games, you know, they've been putting up runs early. And you just have to come out and keep them off balance as much as you can. Oh, nice play right there. Nice play. But definitely some guys that can swing.
That was a great play by Rafael Furcal, wasn't it?
Definitely. Must be nice being a lefty. You can definitely must be nice being a lefty. You can see the running when they're running. We don't have that luxury as righties.
I guess you're right. Never really thought about that. You can just pick it over there. What a great play by Furcal, picking up an errant throw from Albert Pujols and making the tag on Drew Stubbs. So one quick out without having to throw a pitch. That's always kind of nice, isn't it, Edwin?
Oh, definitely. You can get that leadoff runner on, and you can get him off the base as quick as possible and get a ground ball like that for out number 2. Turns somewhat of a big inning, into an inning that you can damage control.
Back in the National League, you like swinging that bat, don't you?
Oh, definitely. It makes you feel like you're part of the game again. You can go up to the plate and help yourself out. Lately, there's been a lot of pitchers to this game. Both pitchers driven in an RBI. You don't have that luxury in American League. You just sit back and watch everybody play. But the National League makes you feel part of the game. You get to get out, swing the bat, run the bases. And, it's back to baseball. It's like Little League. You pitch, you swing, and do a little bit of everything.
Well, I was doing that game last year when you hit that 3-run home run.
Oh, man, I think I got to close my eyes and got lucky a little bit. Everybody expected me to hit home runs now.
And how about Jake Westbrook, your teammate, grand slam in Milwaukee on Wednesday?
Oh, definitely. That was a pitch. I mean, everybody's still wondering how he hit that. He dropped some head on that. Nowadays, pitchers can hit. You can't just go up and throw pitchers cookies nowadays. A lot of these guys can swing the bat. You have to kind of pitch them somewhat like a hitter.
Are you actually trying to say that pitchers might start being athletes? Is that what you're saying?
Hey, they're coming up, especially now. A lot of these pitchers are younger, so a lot of them fresh out of high school and college from fresh swinging the bat. And some of these dudes have some pop. You watch some BP, it's pretty impressive sometimes.
Well, both starting pitchers have driven in a run today. Cardinals leading 5-2 with 2 outs, top of the 4th inning. And the 1-2 to Ryan Hannigan, fastball. Edwin, good luck tomorrow. We appreciate you joining us during this half inning.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Good luck, kid.
Thank you.
Edwin Jackson of the St. Louis Cardinals came over at the deadline. Started the season with the Chicago White Sox, and a guy that you had a chance to watch day in, day out during his days with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Garcia fires to first to retire Hannigan. Middle of the 4th here in St. Louis. Cardinals by 3. Who lasted only 3 innings, allowed 5 runs on 6 hits. Fisher, recalled from AAA Louisville, on Thursday. It's his 4th stint with the Reds this season.
Yeah, he's been on that shuttle between Cincinnati, Ohio and Louisville, Kentucky. And here he is again. Once the roster's expanded, Carlos Fisher was brought back to the major leagues. And here he is. He's going to take his chances with the bottom of the order, starting with Skip Schumacher in the 7 hole, then Gerald Laird and pitcher Jaime Garcia.
Schumacher singled his first time up, came around to score. And on the first pitch from Fisher, he grounds out to the shortstop Renteria. 1 away. Time now for a DirecTV game break. The Yankees and the Blue Jays. Bottom of the 2nd inning, Francisco Cervelli with a 2-run shot, giving the Yankees a 3-2 lead, and then David Robertson strikes out Mike McCoy for the final out. Yankees win it 6-4. They now lead the Red Sox by a full game in the American League East. Get every MLB game and the most in HD. Call 1-800-DirecTV. And as far as we know, Cervelli did not clap as he crossed home plate.
Yeah, that didn't please John Lackey or Jason Saltalamacchia. It ended up getting him a fastball right in his ribs the next time he came up.
Laird lays down the punt. Here's Frazier. He barehands it. Terrific play by Todd Frazier to retire Laird.
Gorgeous play there by Frazier.
Down the line comes Frazier.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I like that. I like that. There's the bunt, a very firm bunt. Frazier comes in, barehands it. Gerald Laird forgot. He runs like a catcher, so he's actually out by a couple of steps.
You know, that Cervelli clap the other day earned him the nickname the Yankee Clapper. You like that one?
I do. That's a couple of little zingers you've done in a row. I like the down the line comes Frazier. 2 pitches, 2 outs so far here.
Good thing Edwin Jackson did not join us this inning. Would not have had any time.
We wouldn't have any time at all. You're correct. So the very economical Carlos Fisher taking over for the Cincinnati Reds here.
Jaime Garcia singled in a run his first time up. His 8th career run batted in. Nothing in 2 on Garcia, with the Cardinals leading 5-2. Garcia strikes out, so Carlos Fisher retires the Cardinals in order on only 6 pitches in the 4th inning. Ball presented by Chevrolet, with the Cardinals leading the Reds 5-2. Top of the 5th inning. Carlos Fisher retired the Cardinals in order on 6 pitches in the bottom of the 4th, and his afternoon is over. He was due to lead off for the Reds here in the 5th. But instead, Dusty Baker sends up a pinch hitter, Chris Valaika, who was recalled on Thursday when rosters expanded. Valaika 5 for 16 at the plate for the Reds earlier this season, a 3rd-round pick back in 2006 out of UC Santa Barbara.
Dusty likes Valaika. He likes the fact that he is an offensive infielder.
Backhanded play by Freese. Long throw, and Valaika is retired. Another terrific play by a third baseman. This time it's David Freese. As we take you back once again, Brandon Phillips wearing the microphone for us today. You see the rundown. Lance Berkman tagged out back in the 3rd.
I love you, Bert. What you had no chance. He didn't know what to do.
That is just classic, isn't it? That's a guy that has fun playing baseball. That's refreshing. And it's not for everybody. A lot of guys can't be that nice and comedic and fun-loving. A lot of people have to be a lot more serious.
Who are some of the guys during your playing days that were similar to Phillips?
Let's see. How about Sean Casey? Sean Casey, one of the nicest men you'll ever meet.
Nicknamed the Mayor.
Yes. Brian McRae, another guy that had a lot of fun playing the big game of baseball. Always talking, always chirping.
When you were playing first base, were you very talkative when guys would come down?
You exchange pleasantries, just out of respect.
Phillips rips this one foul down the left field line.
Remember his last at bat, he was saying, got to hit those mistakes. He put himself in that average hitter category. I think he's certainly better than that, as he sits at 300 as we speak. That's not average to me.
You saw Sam LeCure up and throwing in the Reds pen. The 1-2 to Phillips, and he's not very talkative right now as he strikes out for out number 2.
That was an above average changeup.
Well, this November, Fox Sports steps into the octagon with an epic heavyweight title fight as the #1 ranked contender in the world. Junior Dos Santos squares off with undefeated world champion Cain Velasquez in the must-see mixed martial arts event you can only catch on Fox. Dos Santos and Velasquez for the UFC Heavyweight Championship of the World, live Saturday, November 12th on Fox. And don't forget, on September 24th, light heavyweight champion John Bones Jones against former champion Quentin Rampage Jackson on pay-per-view. Edgar Renteria up the middle, off the bag, into center field for his 2nd hit today.
Well, those guys you mentioned in the mixed martial arts, you want those guys on your side.
That's for sure.
Let's just leave it at that.
Our Fox NFL insider Jay Glazer trains many NFL players in mixed martial arts and has had great success with a number of NFL stars. And I am told that he will be working with Ryan Howard during this offseason.
Well, I see him in his commercials. The commercials.
That's right.
With Glazer and Howard.
They will be training together during the offseason. Here's Joey Votto with 2 outs and Renteria on at first. Cardinals lead the Reds 5-2. Votto struck out on the first, walked in the 3rd. A 1-2 from Garcia. Votto strikes out for the second time.
And he is none too pleased.
So through 5 here in St. Louis, Garcia and the Cardinals lead 5-2. Sponsored by Chevrolet, proud to support youth baseball across the country. Bottom of the 5th inning in St. Louis. Cardinals up 5-2. Third pitcher of the game for the Reds. 27-year-old right-hander Sam LeCure, Jefferson City, Missouri native, making his 36th appearance.
Sam LeCure, a guy that not going to blow you away with 100-mile-an-hour fastballs, but he changes speeds well, hits his spots well. He's having himself a pretty good season this year. Just a steady, if not spectacular year.
Facing the top of the Cardinals order, Rafael Furcal will lead off. Furcal 0 for 2, struck out his last time up. Frazier, another nice play. Furcal 0 for 3. Time for another DirecTV game break. We take you to Detroit. The Tigers and the White Sox. Top of the 4th inning. Sox up 3-1. Alexei Ramirez, a 3-run shot off former Cardinal Brad Penny. 5 runs in the inning for the White Sox. They now lead the Tigers 6-1. Get every MLB game and the most at HD. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Struggles continue for Brad Penny in Detroit.
How about Justin Verlander of the Tigers last night?
He'll get the hang of it one of these days, don't you think?
An incredible run by Verlander. Tigers 5.5 game lead on the Indians. White Sox 6.5 back.
Tribe are a good story this year, aren't they?
Great start. Then they slumped. Come back on over the last month or so. Jim Thome back in Cleveland. Getting back to Verlander, he has now won his last 9 starts.
What's your take? You're starting to hear it, you know, the MVP and all that. What's your take on the possibility of a starting pitcher being an MVP?
I think it's certainly possible if the guy has an incredible season. You know, some say pitchers have their own award, the Cy Young Awards,
right,
and they shouldn't win the MVP. But when you look around the league and the various MVP candidates, you know, I think you have to certainly consider a guy like Verlander, but I don't think he'll win it.
Who do you think will win it? My pick is Curtis Granderson.
I'm with you.
Of the Yankees. And then close behind is Adrian Gonzalez of the Boston Red Sox. And Justin Verlander is a runaway winner of the Cy Young Award.
And in talking about Granderson, the three-way trade 2 years ago, Detroit, New York Yankees, and Arizona, that's really worked out for all three teams.
And that's rare that all three end up being in better shape than they were after the trade.
In fact, the guy we talked to, Edwin Jackson, was part of that deal.
Right.
Ian Kennedy, a 17-game winner, traded from the Yankees to the Diamondbacks. A shot off the bat of Jay, bounces over the wall. For John Jay, his second extra base hit of the game.
Well, when you mention the two first names, John Jay, boy, Tony La Russa just lights up. He is really fond of the way this kid plays the game. He says not only is he talented, but he's just got baseball savvy that you can't teach. He's got instincts that you can't teach. They're going to walk Albert Pujols here to pitch to Matt Holliday, it looks like.
Getting back to that three-way deal, Ian Kennedy to the Diamondbacks. He's won 17 games this year. Yankees get Curtis Granderson. And the Tigers acquire an everyday outfielder in Austin Jackson.
And a terrific defensive center fielder as well, Austin Jackson.
Pujols heads to first, his 23rd intentional walk of the season. As we take you back to the third inning after the Reds took a 2-0 lead, Pujols with a run-scoring single. Cardinals would score 2 runs on 3 hits in the inning. Berkman driving in a run. As the Cardinals extended their lead to 5-2. Here's Matt Holliday, 1 for 2 today. Cardinals with first and second, 1 out. Holliday, first pitch, base hit, past the diving Phillips into right field. Jay will score. RBI number 71 for Matt Holliday. The Cardinals lead is now 6-2.
Well, that's the attitude you have to have. If you're going to walk the guy in front of me to get to me, and Matt Holliday, by the way, is a 300 hitter with 21 home runs this year, you take it personal. So if you're going to walk Albert Pujols, it's going to cost you. And it only took 1 pitch for it to cost the Cincinnati Reds.
After Holliday saw 11 pitches in his last at-bat.
That's the kind of hitter he is. He is without injury this year. He had an appendectomy this year. I mean, he's putting up MVP caliber numbers as well as Pujols, as well as Berkman. In the middle of this order has just been fabulous this year for the Cardinals.
Ball 1 to Berkman.
The effort by Brandon Phillips. The ball was just hit so hard. I mean, it was by him before he even nearly started that dive.
You talked about the production from the 3, 4, and 5 hitters in the Cardinals lineup, Pujols, Holliday, and Berkman. And when you look around the league at the 3, 4, 5 hitters and you combine their numbers, Cardinals lead in just about all offensive categories.
It doesn't surprise me a bit. I can't think of many with 2 guys in the lineup. I mean, you get Fielder and Braun up in Milwaukee. They're terrific. Ball 3 to Berkman. But to have 3 guys putting up just big-time numbers, it's hard to find. There they are. Need to get Albert from behind the umpire there so we can see him. I'm sure the green light is given here on 3-0.
Berkman swings and flies out to Bruce in right.
A missile off the bat, but unfortunately for Lance Berkman, he decided to hit it right at Jay Bruce in right field, but a bolt.
So now 2 outs. Here's David Freese, who has struck out twice today. Cardinals with a run on 2 hits here in the bottom of the 5th inning off Sam LeCure, the 3rd Reds pitcher of this game. Starter Homer Bailey lasted only 3 innings, allowed 5 runs on 6 hits. Carlos Fisher retired the Cardinals in order in the 4th. And now LeCure facing Freese, who swings at the first pitch, and he flies out to the center fielder, Drew Stubbs. But the Cardinals add another run. 5 innings in the books, 6-2 St. Louis. Chevrolet, their award-winning cars, trucks, and crossovers. And by Michelin, a better way forward. Kenny Albert, Mark Grace back at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Fox Saturday Baseball. Cardinals leading the Reds 6-2 as we move to the 6th inning, and Jay Bruce will lead off against Jaime Garcia, who has settled down after allowing the 2 early runs. Reds scored a run of the 1st, another run of the 2nd. But the Cardinals have come back with 6.
Yeah, Garcia's pieced it together very nicely, and that's exactly what these Cardinals needed from him. 9 days of rest. They skipped him because of, well, he just wasn't pitching very well, and he was starting to doubt himself a little bit. Tony La Russa said, "Okay, go ahead and take a start off. You're not but 25 years old." And he jumps ahead of Jay Bruce here, 1-2. I think a game like this was just absolutely necessary for Jaime Garcia and the St. Louis Cardinals to get him back some confidence.
He's also had some bad luck this season, including the one today. 19 unearned runs, most in the major leagues, with Garcia on the mound.
It's easy to get frustrated when the guys behind you aren't making the plays. But as a professional, you still owe it to these guys to go out there and continue to pound away and continue to grind away.
Bruce down on strikes for the 2nd time. 6th strikeout for Garcia. Catch all the action of the 2011 MLB postseason on Fox and TBS. It all begins Friday, September 30th with the Division Series on TBS. Reds made it to the postseason last year, swept by the Philadelphia Phillies. Cardinals hoping to make a September run and overtake the Milwaukee Brewers, who will come to St. Louis for 3 games beginning Monday.
They've got some serious work to do. It can be done, but they have to sweep the Milwaukee Brewers.
Again.
If the Brewers win just one of those games, you can pretty much cancel it.
Ground ball to third base off the bat of Heisey, and he is thrown out by Freeze for out number 2.
And Garcia just continues to piece it back together. He's strong now.
The pitching matchups for the Cardinals Brewers series this week: Jake Westbrook against Randy Wolf, 2 11-game winners on Monday. Kyle Loesch and Giovanni Gallardo, a 15-game winner on Tuesday. And then Chris Carpenter will take the mound for the Cardinals Wednesday against 14-game winner Zach Greinke.
Zach Greinke quietly just putting together a great season in his first year in the National League up there in Milwaukee. Having a great second half. Not just the Brewers, period, just having a great second half.
Brewers looking to make it to the postseason for the first time since 2008. And how about the Arizona Diamondbacks, the team that you covered during the week? 5-game lead on the San Francisco Giants. Diamondbacks 9-game win streak came to an end last night.
Talking to Tony La Russa before the game, and he said hands down his vote for manager of the year is Kirk Gibson of the Arizona Diamondbacks. I don't think you're going to get much argument from anybody. Obviously, the job Charlie Manuel continues to do. Maybe Ron Renicky in Milwaukee. Can't deny what he's done.
You mentioned Charlie Manuel. The Phillies are 42 games over 500 for the first time in franchise history.
It's just a well-oiled machine in Philadelphia. I don't want to forget also the job that Freddie Gonzalez has done in his first year down in Atlanta. So there's some good choices for manager of the year in the National League.
It's not easy replacing a legend, and Freddie Gonzalez has done a terrific job in his first season following the retirement of Bobby Cox. Here's Freeze. Fires across, and Stubbs is retired. A 1-2-3 6th for Garcia. here in St. Louis. Cardinals leading 6-2. Following the Reds' 11-8 victory last night. Reds have not had much success here at the New Busch Stadium, Mark. 13 consecutive non-winning series for Cincinnati in this ballpark.
Yeah. And that's been some very good teams come in here, but the Cardinals and Tony La Russa have handled them with ease.
Bottom of the order for the Cardinals. Skip Schumacher leading off against Sam LeCure. Schumacher 1 for 2, scored a run back in the second. Schumacher fouls it off down the left field line. Now 1-1. Right center. Long run for Stubbs. He makes the catch.
Boy, some great closing speed there from Stubbs. That just had Texas Leaguer written all over it. But he got a great jump and he's got great speed. One of the faster center fielders in the game. And you can see he is full speed once this ball is in the air. And he just runs it down, showing some great closing speed. That's a big time play there by Drew Stubbs.
Talking about speed, Stubbs with 36 steals this year, third in the league. So one away. Here's Gerald Laird. 1 for 2 with a run batted in. Corey Patterson has come out on deck to bat for the pitcher Garcia. The 1-2 to Laird. Fouled off to the right side. Brought his iPad to the game.
Just in case. Put the iPad down, catch the foul ball, and get right back online.
Some folks bring gloves, others bring iPads.
Yeah, down there in line drive territory, you're not going to protect yourself with your iPad very often.
Well, you could hold it up in front of your face.
Now, that's a good point, but then you break your iPad.
Better than breaking your nose.
Great point.
Full count. It's also hard to read the screen in the sun sitting in the first row.
I was going to say, that's got to be difficult. That might be the first iPad I've seen in the stands.
But probably not the last. Laird pops it up to the right side. And the catch is made by the first baseman Votto for out number 2. Well, it's college football time, Mark. I know you've been keeping a close eye on some of the games. There's Gus Johnson on the right, Charles Davis. They will have the action from Norman, Oklahoma on FX. The #1 ranked Sooners host upset-minded in-state rival Tulsa. The FX Saturday college football game of the week presented by Russell Athletic on FX. Check local listings for the channel and start time in your area.
Snapping photos with the iPad.
Must be the iPad 2.
Exactly. I know you've got the original iPad. Can you take photos with it?
Not with the original.
No.
Otherwise, I'd be snapping you all game. For that, I have to go to the old-fashioned cell phone.
There you go. And, yeah, he's taking a picture of what looks to be his favorite player, probably Corey Patterson, who's stepped into the box.
Former Red, now with his 7th team. Or he's reading an email telling him that we're talking about him on television.
Probably a better chance of that.
Patterson pinch hitting for Garcia, who went 6 innings, allowing 2 runs on 7 base hits. Only 1 of the runs earned.
A good change up there from LeCure. Right now his job is just to keep these St. Louis Cardinals right where they are and give that high octane offense that is the Cincinnati Reds an opportunity to get back in this thing. They came from behind a couple of times last night against the St. Louis Cardinals, but it's going to be a tough chore here with only 9 outs left. I would think that's a nice little confidence boost that Jaime Garcia had today. I thought he threw the ball beautifully. Even in that first inning, he gave up a couple of runs and within the first 2 hitters, then bang, 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 strikeout, strikeout, strikeout. And he just never really looked back. Very impressive.
Pitching on 9 days rest. Patterson strikes out, throw down to first, and the Cardinals are retired in order by LeCure in the 6th. By Chevrolet. You ever go to the top of the arch, Mark?
I have. It was about 20 years ago when I did it, and It's an interesting experience up there. The elevator ride up is if you're claustrophobic, you might want to wait at the bottom for your friends to get back down. But it's kind of fun up there. You can see forever.
Good to hear you made it down.
I did make it down. There's viewing areas up there. The gateway to the West. Beautiful St. Louis, Missouri.
Here's Mitchell Boggs making his 47th appearance. 27-year-old right-hander facing Todd Frazier. Pujols to Boggs covering. And he comes down on the bag to retire the former Little League World Series hero, Todd Frazier.
I did not know that. I knew about Sean Burroughs. I didn't know about Frazier.
1998, Toms River, New Jersey. He was the winning pitcher in the final game, and he also went 4 for 4 with a home run.
I did not know that. Thank you for filling me in on that.
Boggs' numbers this season.
So he has World Series experience, in other words.
He does. You mentioned Burroughs to me before the game. He is the only Arizona Diamondback with World Series experience.
Exactly right.
Came in the Little League World Series. Here's Ryan Hannigan. So Todd Frazier in 98, Sean Burroughs, and of course Chris Drury, who recently retired
from hockey.
From the New York Rangers of the National Hockey League. A Little League World Series hero back in 1989 for Trumbull, Connecticut.
What a fabulous career on the ice Chris Drury had.
And a great guy, U.S. Olympian, Stanley Cup champion, Little League World Series champion.
Kind of want to surround yourself with guys like him, don't you?
One out, top of the 7th inning. Hannigan 0 for 2. Yonder Alonso has come out on deck to bat for the pitcher LeCure.
Beautiful fastball, just zips it right at the kneecaps to jump ahead 1-2. Mitchell Boggs, a big right-hander, throws in the mid to high 90s with the fastball. Got a good breaking ball as well. A lot of people think he's going to be a good closer someday for somebody. He's just such a big guy, 6'5". He's got big feet. Look at the size of those feet. Goodness.
To the Hannigan.
The big wind up, and he's letting it fly. Big feet and all. The shoe glue on the back foot there to keep it from ripping up when he's dropping and driving like that. Not going with me on this foot thing, Kenny. I've noticed that.
I've enjoyed listening to it. Payoff pitch. Hannigan thrown out by Laird for out number 2. Time now for another DirecTV game break. We take you to Boston. Paul Crawford at the plate. Bottom of the 4th inning. Grand slam home run off Yoshinori Katayama. Red Sox now lead the Rangers 9-3. Top of the 5th inning after the 10-0 Texas win last night at Fenway.
And that's what they need in Boston. They need Carl Crawford, a healthy Carl Crawford. Down the stretch, if they're going to catch the Yankees. Yankees are playing great baseball right now.
Yankees beat the Blue Jays today, so they now lead the Red Sox buy a game in the American League East. Get every MLB game and the most in HD. Call 1-800-DIRECT-TV. Well, Dusty Baker called back Alonso. And instead, our first look at the prize prospect, Devin Mesoraco, and he'll have himself an extra base hit in his major league debut.
Well, congratulations, young man. The first pitch you see at the major league level is a mid-90s fastball, and you just rifle it down the right field line, and you hit the bottom of the wall. Man, that is a powerful, compact swing. Just unloads. I mean, you're going to hear a lot about this guy, Mesoraco. Well, what a way to start your career.
He's just 23 years of age. He was the Reds' first-round pick, 15th overall in the 2007 draft. His first major league at bat, first pitch, a double here at Busch Stadium.
Somebody's going to have to remind him it's not that easy, kid.
Batting 1,000.
Good for him. And they'll take the baseball and probably do something silly with it and maybe pull a trick on him.
Who was your first hit against?
It was against the San Diego Padres back in 1988, and it was off a fella named Jimmy Jones. I started for the Padres back then, former #1 pick.
Still have the ball?
I do. I've still got it. That's the one you really treasure. And I was fortunate enough to have some other milestone hits, but that was the one that I really, the first one that you've dreamt about since you were a little leaguer. It took Devin Mesoraco all of one pitch to do it. I didn't do it on my first at bat. I grounded out to third my first at bat.
Barnes capturing the outside corner, 1-2 on Phillips. And the dirt blocked by Laird. Now 2-2.
The ageless Arthur Rhodes warming up that valuable left arm.
Two from Boggs, right field. Berkman moving to his left, makes the catch. So Mesoraco, following his first major league hit, is stranded on second. 7th inning stretch time in St. Louis. Lewis, presented by Chevrolet, is sponsored by Sprint. All together now. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Bottom of the 7th here at Busch Stadium. Cardinals lead the Cubs 6-2. Fourth pitcher of the game for the Reds is Jeremy Horst. As we take a look at Devin Mesoraco, he's congratulated by his teammates. He came back to the dugout following his first major league hit, a double on the first pitch he saw.
And a lot of people are happy for that young man. He's going to be around a long time. A guy that, you know, there was a pretty good offensive catcher in Cincinnati for a long time named Johnny Bench. And I'm not about to call him Johnny Bench yet, but he's got the ability to hit the baseball like today maybe you'd see in Brian McCann, maybe Miguel Montero. It's tough to find many offensive catchers. I mean, Mike Piazza was the guy in my era that was just the guy when it came to offense behind the plate.
So a debut to remember for Mesoraco. As Rafael Furcal leads off against Horst. Furcal 0 for 3 today.
Still getting congratulations.
Center field, Drew Stubbs. 1 out. Our game summary. Red starter Homer Bailey lasted only 3 innings. Jaime Garcia some early trouble, but he is in line for his 11th win of the season. Reds 3, 4, and 5 hitters just 1 for 8. While the Cardinals, part of the order, has driven in 3 runs.
John Jay's got a couple of extra base hits, scored a couple of runs. He's going to get a chance off a lefty, a hard-throwing Horst.
Cardinals hoping to gain ground on the Brewers. They lost the game to Milwaukee in the standings last night after pulling to within 7.5 following the sweep in Milwaukee. Brewers in Houston later tonight. Brandon Phillips, 2 away. Well, Chevrolet proudly supports the great game of baseball at all levels. See how they're making kids' baseball dreams come true across the USA at ChevyBaseball.com.
Well, the guy stepping into the box. Nobody in this city goes to the refrigerator or to the latrine when he's stepping into the batter's box, because something special could be just seconds away.
1 for 2 today, so Pujols' batting average now up to 295.
There's no doubt in my mind he'll get it to over 300. I don't think there's many doubts in anybody's mind. Watch this young man play baseball the last 10 years.
He has never hit below 300 over his first 10 seasons in the major leagues.
I mean, you just run out of superlatives when you start trying to describe this guy on and off the field. Any doubts? Any questions, folks?
Even closer to 300. Pujols hit with a double. Well, throughout baseball history, Mark, 33 players have hit 300 or better 10 straight seasons. Only 6 players have hit 30 or more home runs 10 straight years. Only 5 have driven in 100 runs 10 straight years. He's done all of it every year, all 10 seasons of his career.
Truly amazing. And now it's Matt Holliday's turn to get intentionally walked. Lance Berkman will have to turn around and hit from the right side, which is, during his entire career, been his much lesser side, if you will. Much more of a power hitter from the left side than he is the right.
Back in the 5th inning, Pujols was intentionally walked, and then Holliday drove in a run on the first pitch he saw. Here in the 7th inning, Holliday will take first base. Here comes Berkman.
That's what you were talking about earlier, Kenny, the 3, 4, 5 hitters for the St. Louis Cardinals. Just damage incorporated. I kind of like the song that Lance Berkman comes to the plate. He comes to the plate to Johnny Cash.
Old school.
Yeah, I kind of like that. You put your hand over your heart when the Man in Black sings.
Pujols on second. Holliday takes his lead off first. 2 outs. Bottom of the 7th inning. Cardinals leading 6-2.
Berkman thought that was outside, but Angel Campos said, nope, it was good enough. You're going to have to swing at that one out there. Berkman now going to look at him. Okay, if that one's on the outside part going to be a strike, how can you call that one on the inside part? And Campos says, it's getting late.
As we approach 5:45 here in St. Louis. Runners go, payoff pitch, and Berkman fouls it back. Mark reaches out with his iPad to try and catch it.
Nah, I was going to go bare hand on that one. Have you ever caught a foul ball at a ball game?
No, I've had a couple come into the broadcast booth, but never caught one.
I actually caught one my first year as a broadcaster in 2004 in Milwaukee, off the bat of my former teammate Luis Gonzalez.
Wow.
That's the only foul ball I've ever caught. Missed a bunch of them.
Berkman grounds out. I once had a former Gold Glove first baseman, not you, I will not name him, duck under the desk when a foul ball came into the booth.
Really?
I felt good about myself that day.
That wasn't Keith Hernandez, was it?
6-2. Edgar Renteria leads off against Mitchell Boggs, working his second inning in relief of Jaime Garcia. Renteria with a couple of hits today, and he takes strike one. There's Ryan Theriot now in the game at second base. Skip Schumacher has moved from second base to right field for the Cardinals, replacing Lance Berkman. Renteria, the World Series MVP for the Giants last season, but right now San Francisco trailing Arizona by 5 games in the National League West. Renteria has his third hit of the game as he singles up the middle. Time now, Mark, for our Burger King mini moment. And what a moment it was for Devin Mesoraco. First pitch of his major league career, he doubles off Boggs back in the 7th inning.
That is a great moment. Anytime you get your first major league hit, you do it on your first pitch you see. And we're gonna have a break in the action as Tony La Russa is going to come out and make a pitching change.
So that will be all for Mitchell Boggs. Here comes Arthur Rhodes out of the Cardinals pen.
Is that all he is?
He's 41. Pitched the last 2 seasons for the Reds. Now facing his former teammate Joey Votto, who swings at the first pitch from Rhodes. And coming out to make the catch, the left fielder Holiday for out number 1.
Well, it didn't take the ageless Arthur Rhodes very long at all. 1 pitch to retire the dangerous Joey Votto. All in a day's work. Been around a long time now. 20 seasons in the major leagues.
His 892nd appearance.
One of the real good guys in the game too. Boy, when he was young, boy, he threw so hard.
He made his major league debut in 1991 with the Orioles. Wow. As a starter.
Good for Arthur Rhodes. Yeah, he was he was no fun from the left side. You know, a delightful guy, but always just that perma scowl on his face. Made him very intimidating.
Road signed by the Cardinals on the 12th of August. Now 2-1 on Bruce, who has struck out twice, also singled back in the third inning. Here's a drive off the bat of Bruce, deep right field, and the Reds pull to it in 2. Home run number 29 off the bat of Jay Bruce. His 87th and 88th runs batted in of the season.
There's a bit of a hush comes over Busch Stadium as a long home run off the bat of Jay Bruce. Arthur Rhodes, 20 years in the big leagues. He knows that hanging sliders go a long ways at this level. Jay Bruce did not miss it. A no-doubter tape measure shot into the walkway up there. That's a long ways here at Busch Stadium. We got a ball game all of a sudden.
Tony La Russa is going to make a double switch as Shane Robinson heads out to the outfield. Here comes Jason Mott. Tony La Russa makes a double switch. Jason Mott, who has been outstanding this season, 20 consecutive scoreless appearances out of the pen, will face Chris Heisey. It's now a 2-run game.
He's been used a lot. Game number 66 now for the hard-throwing Mott. How about that big goose egg right there? 32 games, 24 and 2/3 innings. Goodness gracious. We saw him as we were leaving the Cardinal clubhouse today, Kenny. We both asked how he was doing. He kind of gave a big sigh. I'm hanging in there the best I can. In other words, it's September in the major leagues, and he's running on fumes just like about everybody else.
20 consecutive appearances without allowing a run of any kind, and 32 without having allowed an earned run.
98 miles an hour from a hard-throwing right-hander.
And he was a catcher until 2006.
Right. Well, you know what that means, right? He couldn't hit. But he had a heck of an arm, so here, go ahead and get you a pitcher's glove, and we'll teach you how to do this. Goodness gracious, he just cleaned Chris Heisey's clock in that at-bat. I mean, a high fastball, and once again, that's just getting your clock cleaned right there. You can see just how tardy the swing of Heisey is.
So with 2 away, here's Drew Stubbs. Stubbs 1 for 3 today. Cardinals led 6-2. Renteria led off the inning with a single off Mitchell Boggs, who was replaced by Arthur Rhodes, who retired Joey Votto. But then Jay Bruce took Rhodes deep. A 2-run shot, his team-leading 29th home run of the season. It's now a 2-run ball game. Just missing away. 1-1.
Mott's such a quirky guy out there, all kinds of gyrations, all kinds of nervous ticks.
Right field, Schumacher. And that will do it for the Reds in the 8th, but they score 2 runs. Jay Bruce off Arthur Rhodes. 6-4 St. Louis. Get DirecTV's best offer of the year. And by Jeep. Bottom of the 8th in St. Louis. Cardinals lead the Reds 6-4. 5th pitcher of the game for Cincinnati, the right-hander Nick Massett. His 66th appearance.
Stuff-wise, it doesn't get much better than Nick Massett. But he just had a little bit of difficulty in the middle of this season. Well, he had more than a little bit of difficulty. He struggled. And because of that, his numbers are a bit inflated. But this kid has got a special right arm. Great fastball, great changeup, breaking ball as well.
Fastball missing high to David Freese, who is 0 for 3 today, struck out twice. Reds had a 2-0 lead early. Cardinals would score 3 in the second, 2 in the third. They chased Homer Bailey after 3 innings. The Red starter allowed 5 runs on 6 hits. Fastball in for strike 1. Now 2-1. Freese, Schumacher, and Laird for the Cardinals here in the 8th. Right field. Bruce, 1 away. Well, the NFL season begins in 5 days this Thursday night. Create your fantasy football team today at foxsports.com/fantasy. It's not too late, and it's easy to set up your league or to join a public league. Sign up today at foxsports.com/fantasy.
Are you a fantasy football player?
I have not been in recent years.
I haven't either. It's been about 4 years since I've done it.
But if you were, who would your first pick be?
This year? Wow.
Schumacher up the middle, off the mound, and into center field. Second hit of the game for Skip Schumacher. You go with the quarterback, do you go with the running back?
I would go with Aaron Rodgers of the Green Bay Packers. What about you?
Not a bad way to go. I guess.
Would you go a running back first?
Rodgers, maybe Drew Brees at the quarterback position. Many people, I think, would go with a Chris Johnson, perhaps.
True. Even without a training camp.
Maybe
that was by design.
But should be a great season. Gets underway Thursday in Green Bay, and then the NFL on Fox. The 18th season of the NFL on Fox starting next Sunday.
I haven't been playing fantasy football because, well, I've had a lock on last place just about every time I play fantasy football. So
never brought home the trophy.
No, never. Starting to get to me a little bit, so I just took my ball and went home. I quit.
Okay. We welcome those of you who have been watching the Tigers and the White Sox now on a rain delay. Kenny Albert, Mark Grace from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. 1 out, bottom of the 8th inning. Cardinals leading the Cincinnati Reds 6-4 with Gerald Laird at the plate. The former Detroit Tiger, now 1-1.
You see that terrific fastball from Massett, just threw it letter high right by Gerald Laird.
Cardinals led this game 6-2. Jay Bruce took 41-year-old Arthur Rhodes deep, a 2-run shot at the top of the 8th inning, cutting the St. Louis lead to 2 runs. One to Laird, fouled off the mask of Hannigan. Now 1-2. Cincinnati scored runs in each of the first 2 innings off Cardinals starter Jaime Garcia, but then he settled down. Cardinals scored 3 in the second, 2 in the third, as they chased the Red starter Homer Bailey after just 3 innings. St. Louis 8.5 behind Milwaukee in the National League Central. Cardinals swept the Brewers on the road this past week, and they will host Milwaukee here at Busch beginning on Monday for 3 more games.
And they're needing to win today and tomorrow to give themselves a chance, or else that series just becomes meaningless if they don't win today and tomorrow.
And on the other side, the Reds, division winners a year ago, 2 games under 500. Dusty Baker's club 13.5 out.
And Dusty was talking to us before the game, and he just, you know, he's proud of the way his guys have played this year. They never could get on a roll. And a roll usually is anywhere from, 8 to 10, 11 game winning streak. They just never could click off a bunch in a row. And when you do that, you're going to hang around 500, and that's exactly where the Cincinnati Reds are. And the defending Central champions sitting at 2 games under 500. That's disappointing to Dusty and the rest of those Reds.
Starting pitchers, Bailey and Garcia. Garcia in line for the win. Bruce, a 2-run shot in the 8th. And a big day for the Cardinals. 3, 4, and 5 hitters. Pujols, Holiday, and Berkman.
C.B. Buckner claimed that Gerald Laird didn't go at that good breaking ball from Massett. Now, I would imagine Tony La Russa is going to have Schumacher on the run with a 3-2 count and 1 out, trying to stay out of the double play.
Time called by the home plate umpire, Angel Campos. Laird 1 for 3 with an RBI. 1 out, bottom of the 8th inning. Laird heads down to first. A 1-out walk. Schumacher to second. And now Shane Robinson will bat for the first time today. Called up by the Cardinals yesterday. Pinch hit of the 8th inning. Robinson has had injury problems the last 2 seasons. Left shoulder dislocation last year, missed most of the season. And this year in AAA, involved in a collision in the outfield back in April. Suffered facial fractures and a hand injury.
Golly. But here he is. He's back. He's wearing a major league uniform. He's trying to get these St. Louis Cardinals back into the Central Division.
5th round pick back in 2006 by St. Louis. He's from Jesuit High School in Tampa. Same high school that also produced Lou Piniella, Brad Radke, Jason Michaels, and Dave Magadan.
There's a lot of good talent in Tampa, Florida. I miss Lou Piniella.
I saw Lou back in May at a charity event. He looked great. Lost about 50 pounds. Working for the San Francisco Giants as a consultant to Brian Sabian.
Well, I would imagine not managing kind of makes your hair get back dark again. Not near as much stress scouting as there is managing, especially on the north side of Chicago.
Six, 4, 3.
And fancy by Brandon Phillips. Real fancy.
So Robinson grounds into a double play. We head to the 9th here in St. Louis. One error for the Reds, 6 runs on 10 hits, 1 error for the Cardinals. Here's Daniel Descalso, the new third baseman for the Cardinals. Juan Francisco pinch hitting for Todd Frazier. Francisco drove in 5 runs in last night's game for the Reds.
Yeah, Francisco, a guy with big time power. Dusty Baker just not sure right now if there's a position for Juan Francisco. He can hit. Boy, can he hit. And he's getting a heap and helping of gas right now from Jason Mott. That's strike 2. He couldn't hold up. Mott came in and shut the door in the 8th inning, getting the final 2 outs. So he's going for the inning plus save here. He's got to save a 2-run game here. Just missed below the knees.
Mott has 1 save this season. He's one of 8 Cardinal pitchers who have saved a game for Tony La Russa here in 2011. That's the most in the major leagues. 8 pitchers with at least 1 save. Not necessarily a good thing.
No. That just means right now Tony La Russa's had to piece it together just about all year long. Ryan Franklin, the closer to start the year here in St. Louis, just couldn't get it done this year. And because of that, it's just been a trickle-down effect. Whoever's had the most rest, go ahead and get some outs in the 9th inning. And today, it's Jason Mott.
The 1-2 to the pinch hitter, Francisco. Mott missing high and away. Francisco 1 for 6 as a pinch hitter, batting .222 overall. Last night, a 3-run home run and a 2-run double. Career high 5 runs batted in for Juan Francisco.
He's making Mott work. He's fighting off some high 90s fastballs.
Two from Mott, and Francisco down on strikes. 98-mile-per-hour fastball from Jason Mott. Time now for our Just for Men Keep Your Edge Spotlight. Cardinal starter Jaime Garcia, 6 innings in line for his 11th win. Pitching on 9 days rest today. Just as Garcia has given the Cardinals the edge, you too can keep your edge with Just for Men mustache and beard. Ryan Hanigan takes strike 1. Hanigan 0 for 3 today.
Boy, Mott feeling it out there right now. He just blew Juan Francisco's doors off with a fastball at 98 miles an hour. And he starts Hanigan with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball right on the outside corner. Just missed there at 98. He's feeling it. He's feeling good about things. All kinds of gyrations. He's picking at his hat. He's picking at his pants. At his cleats, his shoestrings, his beard. Just put something down and let me throw it.
1-2 on Hanigan.
You can see he's high strung out there. Here, let me pick at something.
Whatever he can reach.
Exactly. Whatever he can reach. Let me pick at my pants and my shoestrings. Man, I'm just out here doing anything I can. Okay, I'll get on the mound. Go ahead and put one finger down and let me throw a fastball.
Yonder Alonso has come out on deck to pinch hit for the pitcher Bassett. Great job by our entire crew today here in St. Louis. Our producer Kara Langley McDermott, director Jim Lynch, associate director Eric Billigmeyer, associate producer Andy Cavanaugh, technical producer Dan Rotante, technical director Dan Berger. Pre-game show produced by Don Bowie. As Hanigan grounds out, Pujols to Mott covering. We thank Marty Aronoff and Mark Seguro crunching the numbers for us today as the Reds are now down to their final out. So Yonder Alonso will pinch hit for Bassett. What a story. Born in Havana, Cuba. Moved to the United States with his family at the age of 10. They all lived in a small apartment in Florida. His father worked nights cleaning offices to make some extra money. Alonso spent 1 year at the University of Miami, and here he is in the major leagues with the Reds.
And this guy is some kind of talented offensively.
First pitch, he pops it into shallow left field. The shortstop for Collins under it. And the St. Louis Cardinals win game 2 of this series. Mott with his second save of the season. Garcia win number 11 after falling behind 2-0. For the moment, St. Louis now 8 games out in the National League Central.
They did what they had to do, and that is win this baseball game. And what that does to the Milwaukee Brewers, who I'm sure were watching this ball game, it's a shot over the bow to the Milwaukee Brewers who are playing in Houston tonight, that, hey, we've already done our job. So now a little extra pressure on the Brew Crew in Houston.
Garcia the win. He's 11-7. Bailey drops to 7-7. Lasted only 3 innings. Mott the save. Will return to St. Louis after these messages from your local station.